Bolton Wanderers have sacked manager Ian Evatt, and in today's video you're going to find out all my thoughts, opinions on this news. Was it the right decision, and who could potentially be his replacement? If you do go on to enjoy, make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new, and don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. 60 likes on today's video will be massively appreciated. And do you think Bolton Wanderers have made the right decision here? If we go over and have a look at the League One table, as we can see, Bolton are down in 9th at this moment in time. 26 matches have been played in the league this season, just the 11 wins, only 5 draws, but 10 defeats as well, which is the most in the top 13 teams. They have scored 39 goals but also conceded 41. That is the most in the top 18 teams in the division. It obviously leaves them on a -2 goal difference and 38 points. They've only got 1 win in their last 5. They've lost 3 of their last 5 as well. The draw, I think, was at home to Cambridge. I think this is the correct decision. I do believe Bolton have been putting off the inevitable for a couple of weeks, and obviously after the Cambridge game he basically told the fans to F off, which obviously was not going to go down too well with the fan base. And then with the 2-1 defeat at home to Charlton last night, while Charlton are a big club for this level, I think Bolton would expect to beat them at home, but to lose against them with the poor form that they've been on, I think the writing was on the wall when you're only going to pick up 1 point at your last possible 9. And with the money they've spent, the squad they've got, Bolton should be a lot higher than 9th. They're below Leyton Orient. With all due respect, I think Richie Wellens is an excellent manager. You cannot be below Leyton Orient with the money they've spent. If we have a look at Ian Evatt's time at Bolton Wanderers this season, then you can see in the league they've only averaged 1.46 points per game. You need to be averaging around 2 if you want to get promoted, so they're clearly nowhere near that. But the thing that concerns me the most is the amount of losses they've got in the league. They've not got that mentality where it's, if you don't win the match, then make sure you draw. They don't really have that, or they haven't had that so far this season. His time at Bolton overall, you would say it's relatively successful. Obviously got them promoted out of League 2, had them battling at the top end of League 1, but just never quite got over the line. Lost obviously last season in the playoffs to Oxford in the final. I think they did lose in the semi-finals maybe the year before that, or potentially lost in the final again prior to that season. And I think they've had a couple of seasons now of just not quite getting over the line, and this season had to be the one where they go and push on. Wickham have obviously massively overperformed this season. Birmingham spent big. Wrexham are doing very well, and there's amongst other teams as well, your Huddersfields, your Barnsleys. The standard of League One is pretty good right at the top end. The overall standard obviously isn't amazing, but right at the top, and Bolton have found themselves just below that at the moment. And like I say, with the money that they've spent, I think this does make sense. With his contract expiring at the end of next season, I don't think the payout is going to be astronomical. He did a very good job at Barrow, and obviously 3 games as caretaker for Chesterfield. I would say overall Ian Evatt's time at Bolton Wanderers was a success, but the last couple of seasons he's not quite got over the line. And like I keep coming back to the money that they've spent £1 million on Joe Randall this transfer window. I don't know who's doing their recruitment, but I don't think Joe Randall's worth £1 million, to be honest. And there's obviously so many other examples. Carlos Mendes-Gomes, they spent a couple $100,000 on. He's played like 3 games all season, for example. You know, there is some serious quality in this Bolton squad. The likes of Nathan Baxter in between the sticks. Ricardo Santos has been one of the best centre-halves in the division over the last couple of seasons. Aaron Morley was excellent out on loan at Wickham for the first half of the campaign. Kyle Dempsey and Josh Sheehan, proven quality at this level. Jay Matete, proven promotions with Sunderland and Plymouth, I believe, but then it has not really worked out his time at Bolton, and obviously did that ridiculous stamp on the Charlton player last night. He'll probably get a ban for that. Joe Randall, they spent big money on. Randall Williams did very well with Exeter and Hull over his career. Carlos Mendes-Gomes did very well with Morecambe, but hasn't done much for a long time. John McAtee did very well at the likes of Barnsley and Scunthorpe and Grimsby. Aaron Collins had proven pedigree at Bristol Rovers. Victor Adebayojo is a decent player, while he might not score that many goals. Obviously, they sold Dion Charles to Huddersfield in this transfer window. They've got the team, they've got the squad, and I know Ian Evatt came out and said that his players are soft and they've not got the right mentality, and changing him isn't going to affect anything. We're now going to see if the Bolton owners and directors have made the correct decision here. As a Bradford City fan, I remember when Derek Adams said something similar at Bradford City. He got the sack the season after Bradford City got in the playoffs under Mark Hughes. So it's all about expectations. The expectations at Bolton are obviously to get promoted, and the miles off that under Ian Evatt, so I do believe this makes sense. If we have a look then at last night's game in a little bit more detail, we can see obviously the full-time score was Bolton Wanderers 1, Charlton Athletic 2, where Bolton actually created 16 chances in that game. And you look at where they were attacking from, they like to attack in them wide areas. Charlton again a little bit similar, but you would certainly say that Bolton do rely a little bit more on their wider areas rather than through the middle, which does concern me a little bit, considering the player who plays in that number 10 position is your Joe Randalls. It's previously been your John McAtees, your Aaron Collins. Obviously they rotated between them before Randall did come in, and there's a lot of quality in there, even Claudio Lolos for example, and they're not quite funneling enough through the middle, at least according to this. You look at the shot directions, a lot of them come in down that left hand side, not many from the right side, but only 31% in the middle. The more chances you've got in the middle, the more likely you are to score a goal, because obviously the percentage and angle of the goal is a lot bigger. So to only have 31% of your shots from the middle is very disappointing, and it goes to show that you're not creating good enough chances. The shot zone as well, 19% of shots being from outside the box isn't too bad, and to be fair, that leaves, is it 81% inside the 18-yard box, which is pretty solid, with a further 13 being inside the 6-yard box. So you would go to say there that they're creating the chances in the right areas when they eventually get into the box, but they're just not being clinical enough potentially. In terms of the action zone, it was a very even game, but there was quite a lot going on in the Bolton half. When you're the home team, you need that more to be in the opposition half. In terms of the players' average positions, I couldn't tell you what formation Bolton were playing. Maybe a 4-diamond-2, maybe a back 3, potentially 12, 15 and 6 being your back 3, 23 and 14 being your wing backs, 16, 8 and 4 being your midfielders, with 31 and 19 up front. Potentially, I'm not too sure. Bolton fans, let me know down below, what formation does Ian Evatt typically play, because you can see here from the average positions, they're all over the place, there's no structure, and teams are not going to be successful without a structure at this division. There is currently 5 odds-on favourites to be the next Bolton Wanderers manager. Stephen Schumacher is currently the odds-on favourite. Liam Richardson, Ryan Lowe, Sam Allardyce and Des Buckingham are all options. I think Bolton need to be going on a long-term project. I don't think they're going to get instant success this season. If they make it into the playoffs, I think considering where they are as of right now, that would be deemed a okay finish compared to where they are at this moment in time. The mess that kind of Ian Evatt has put them under. They need to act fast to give their new manager an opportunity in this transfer window, but we saw what Stephen Schumacher did at Plymouth Argyle. I think that would be a really good appointment. Liam Richardson did well with Wigan, obviously was probably unfairly sacked then. I don't think he's had a job since then. Ryan Lowe again did very well with Plymouth. Obviously eventually Stephen Schumacher took over and got them over the line. Ryan Lowe got promoted with Bury as well. His time at Preston, he did alright there to be honest, but he felt himself it just went a bit stale, and if I'm being completely honest, I don't see Ryan Lowe being a perfect fit for Bolton Wanderers. I don't think they'll have the patience for Ryan Lowe in terms of his style of play. Sam Allardyce, I don't see why they would go for Sam Allardyce. He's the sort of man that needs in a relegation battle. I don't see why they would pick him. Des Buckingham would be a really good appointment as well. Again, a bit more of a long-term project, but he did excellent with Oxford United last season to get them promoted, beating Bolton, obviously, in the final. His time in the Championship didn't really work out, in all honesty, with the squad that he had there. While he did an okay job, they were going on a really poor run, and we've seen, obviously, since Gary Rowett's gone in there, I think he's picked up like 16 points out of 18 or something crazy like that. They've been on a really good run, so it goes to show that maybe Des Buckingham might do the job in League One potentially, but then when it gets to the Championship he might struggle a little bit. So thinking long term, I think Stephen Schumacher would be the best appointment, certainly out of the ones that are available at this moment in time. But Bolton fans, who do you want to be the next man to take your club forward? Let me know down in the comment section down below. My overall thoughts then on this departure, I think it probably is the best for all parties. Ian Evatt, I think previously said he'll be a Premier League manager within 5 years. I think he's only got 2 or 3 years left to do that, and he said he wanted that to be with Bolton Wanderers. Obviously that is going to be no more. Let me know down below, who do you want as the next Bolton Wanderers manager? And obviously if you don't support Bolton, what do you think about the sacking from the outside point of view? Because that's obviously my opinion, what I am giving, being a Bradford City fan, but it'd be interesting to know the thoughts of Bolton fans and also wider football fans as well. Do you believe this is the right decision? I think they've delayed the inevitable a little bit over the last couple of weeks. If they'd have done this a bit earlier, it'd given them a little bit more time to make sure they get the right appointment, and then that manager can have his transfer window. But I think with the squad that Bolton have got, you don't necessarily need to be relying on a transfer window and spending big money to get the best out of some of these players. There's a lot of talent in that squad, and Ian Evatt has ultimately failed to do so. And obviously being a Bradford City fan, we've got Anthony Sarcevic. Ian Evatt and Anthony Sarcevic did have a bit of a falling out. I know he's not very well liked by the Bolton fans, but maybe now that we're seeing how Ian Evatt has behaved over the last couple of weeks and how loved that Anthony Sarcevic is by all these other clubs, all their fans, all their players, all the different managers, maybe Anthony Sarcevic wasn't so bad, Bolton Wanderers fans. But let me know all your thoughts down below. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. 60 likes, as I said at the start of today's video, will be massively appreciated, and I'll see you very soon for another one.